Good morning, y'all. It is Shop Talk time. Woo! I am excited. We got a new background here. As you can see, I am in Orlando, Florida. Beautiful place. It's nice and warm. I can actually wear a t-shirt right now. Forgive the plane going above me. And yeah, so I'm here for a couple of months. So when you see me doing interviews and you see this background, it is not fake. It is real. That palm tree right up there, that's real. Uh, and the pool in the background, I don't know if you can see it. That's real. And but forget all of that because I'm excited today. I got a special guest who's going to be joining the show for a second time. Her name is Rebecca. She is the owner and founder of Four Corners Collective. And I'm just excited to be able to chat with her this morning. In fact, interestingly enough, we do a lot of the same stuff business wise. So I'm excited to geek out with her on that, but also talk about, business in general and personal life, navigating this new world as an entrepreneur, etc. So I'm really, really excited, and I'm going to send an invite here and get her to join us.
Hello, hello.
Hey, Rebecca.
How are you?
I am fantastic. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm good. I'm jealous. That's for sure. Looks beautiful there.
It is absolutely gorgeous here. Yeah, it's we drove 22 hours. The first time I've ever driven that far. And it was interesting just to see the weather changing and changing as we got closer and closer. So,
Yeah, you're
but
getting
we here.
farther away from the bad weather, closer to the good weather.
That's
Oh,
that's right. Rebecca, I'm so excited that you're here today. It's
I
good to
know.
see you.
Yeah, it's good to see you too. It's been a while. It's like I don't know. It feels like so much time has passed, but it's just been crazy. But I'm so happy to be here with you and be able to touch
I
base.
Absolutely. Now I gotta ask because the last time we got together, you were talking about entering motherhood, and since then you've had your baby,
Hmm.
beautiful, beautiful baby,
Thank you.
and so happy. Congratulations to you
Yeah.
and your partner. It's amazing. And I just want to ask, how is motherhood? How is having a new baby and life for
Yeah,
you?
it's crazy. I always say, like, it's the best thing that's ever happened to me. But, I talk to my girlfriends about it because I have lots of friends that are moms and that are working moms. And it's like this world of oxymorons, I call it, because it's like you want the time to pass, but you also don't. And it's like, it's just constant, like, you want something to happen and then it happens and you miss the way they were. And they grow up so, so fast. And, the newborn days were hard, but he's such a healthy kid. And it's a beautiful thing to become a mom. And it definitely makes you reflect on yourself and how you might need to, change and grow up as a human. Kind of brings out that inner child in you. So it's been a really cool journey.
Wow, amazing, amazing. And how old now is your baby?
Okay, so Jackson's 5 months, so it's wild. I just feel like he was just born yesterday, and all of a sudden he's 5 months old. So yeah, I mean it is true. Time flies.
It definitely is.
Yeah,
Definitely is. That is incredible. So so happy for you.
thank you,
Jackson, love that name by the way. That's a real cool name.
thank you.
So all right, so I want to jump in here with you because you're now fully immersed in motherhood, but you have a business as well that you've had now for a while.
Hmm.
Um, Tell me a little bit about your business for people that are going to be listening to the show and may not know about what you do. Give us the scoop.
Yeah, so we're a full social media management organization. Like you said at the beginning of this, Josh, we do a lot of the same things. We really specialize in organic social media management for our clients, and we have a lot of different, clients as well. We do a lot of tourism and hospitality clients. We have a lot of wellness clients as well, some retail-based clients. So yeah, we're really just we're a small kind of boutique agency at this point. Definitely, getting busier and expanding as time goes on. But obviously, in the midst of motherhood and trying to expand your business, it's difficult, and you kind of have to do it when the time is right. The goal is to. I mean, I guess your goals, Josh, to kind of become more full service in terms of, website offerings and all of that good stuff. So, but the bread and butter of what we do right now is social media management.
That's incredible. And I love how you mentioned like organic social media, because I feel like in this space it's something that is so wildly misunderstood as far as like kind of the reasons why one would want to spend a lot of time there when it comes to building brand, building your reputation over time for the long game and not the short term wins that everybody likes to focus on in business.
Yeah.
Like, if you can speak to what from your perspective, and now I want to get some expertise from you because you're in this space, and I'm kind of geeking out a little bit, so I'm asking this question selfishly. Like, when you think about organic social media, what in your from your perspective is like the thing that really makes it make sense for a business to think, why would I spend time there, either myself or bring an agency in to help with that process, with that execution and output? Why would I want to invest in that? Because you don't see like necessarily like return on investment. Like, it's a lot harder to measure as far as like dollars in the bank in a lot of cases. Like, so from your perspective, like, why does that make sense for SMBs brands to focus on time there?
Yeah, it's so hard because like we have struggled with this in the past where we've onboarded a client and they're asking us like, well, like how many new followers are we going to get, or like how many sales will come of this, and it is really difficult to put a number on that or measure that. So it can be difficult to explain the value of it. But the way I think of it is just like building your own tribe authentically and not having to pay for it, essentially. Like, you're attracting people to your business in a very realistic way. And I personally think, from a consumer standpoint, there's a lot of value in, seeing a post organically, really connecting with that content and that, whatever message they're putting out there, and you actually going and saying, you know what, I'm going to follow this and I'm going to become part of this community. There's a lot of value in that. And I find that, you're building that trust and that relationship with that person, so they're more likely to stick around a lot longer, and they're more likely to, convert to become a customer at the end of the day. So that's kind of what we try to explain. And it is a long game. At the end of the day, it's a very long game. We're not in the game of buying followers and just, doing anything to grow that follower count. It's really about just finding your target market, attracting them, and keeping them around and growing that relationship.
I love that. I often think when I think about like ideal client, and I think about Nike because I'm like, like the brains behind Nike, like they're it's very apparent in their marketing that
Yeah.
it's never like a door knocking, like, buy this shoe, buy this piece of equipment, etc. Like, it's always like about relationship and reputation and building that awareness. And I mean, they're a I don't know if they're $1 million billion company in revenue. I haven't looked at the numbers, but like, that concept is so so real, and you see people doing extraordinary things in that. Do you think that that's a concept that is kind of far few in between understood amongst SMBs?
Yeah, I think we're getting there. I think there's a lot of people on social media now fighting for more of an authentic experience. And from what I see from Instagram in particular, we're headed in that direction in terms of kind of what this platform actually wants to become. And I think that that's a really good thing because I have mixed feelings, about. I mean, I live in social media every single day, and I have mixed feelings about the value that it can bring to people's lives and how overwhelming it can be when you're on it all the time. So I think it's important that we try to take it in a more authentic way so that it's more of like a supportive environment for people versus an environment where people are just products are just being pushed and it can feel a little bit overwhelming. So it's still very possible to sell on these platforms, but I try to encourage my clients to build the trust with their following first and then kind of go in that direction. So I think it's becoming more well known among small business owners, but I think it's it'll be a little bit of a long haul as well.
Yeah, yeah, I totally get it. Like I feel like the concept, the thing that makes it so much easier from a buy-in perspective is looking at it like when you just enjoy connecting with your tribe, when you just enjoy like genuinely like having those conversations, learning about the community around you, the people that are maybe using products similar to what you're selling or your services, and understanding them and building that rapport, like that stuff is fun for me. Like I actually really enjoy it, and I'm the sole like social media manager for OSM's social at this point.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just something that I really enjoy, will forever want to do, just because I enjoy that relationship so
Yeah.
much. And I find like, and especially like with clients that we work with, like when the goal is to like continue to build and build and build that awareness, and
Yeah.
then the money just comes. Like it was the same approach for this show. Like I went into it with the intent, like I got, quote unquote bored in the pandemic, and I'm like, I need to like connect with people,
Yes.
and like this has led to so much business, but that was never ever the intent.
Yeah. It's so true, Josh. Like honestly, like when you just follow what you're passionate about, I always promise people that like these sales will come. And we work for a spa, for example. And so, they are heavy service and retail based. So massages, products, skincare, all of that stuff. And the conversation that we constantly have with them is that, people are going to buy your products if they understand the value behind it. So instead of, going and saying, we have a special, buy this. But why should they buy it? Why should they care about what you're posting? You know what I mean? So we preach a lot of education and value to our clients because anytime anyone buys anything, there's a why behind it.
Mm,
Like for myself, I've struggled with acne. So my why was that I had low self-confidence. I didn't feel like myself. I didn't feel good. So I bought those products to fix that problem. You're always fixing a problem and you're always adding value somewhere. So it's kind of just a mindset shift, I think, for business owners.
totally agree. I love that. What problem can you solve? That's something we're very bullish about over here. Like when we talk about like the why behind what we're putting out there. I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
And by the way, just for the people listening, so you have it's yourself, and how many team members do you have on your team right now?
Yeah, so at this point we have about three part-time team members now. So we've slowly kind of started growing, but I'm pretty particular about bringing people on board because I really want that experience to be positive and really like nurture them. So we try to do it fairly slow at this point, just because we really want to grow those people and have them like have some longevity with us. Like I'm very passionate about like being a team, and especially like, Josh, when you all work remotely, like you have to really nurture your relationship with your team and make sure that it's like super positive and really great, because you don't want anybody to feel like they don't have a sense of community within your team, or it's not the right fit or anything like that. So yeah, we've got a team of three. We're small but mighty right now, and yeah, looking to expand in the future for sure.
That's amazing. And you know what, you brought up something that's so talked about in today, and I actually want to go here with you, is that whole concept of like managing a team remotely, working with them. It's something I'm experiencing and walking through right now. Like, is that something that has been something that has just been easy? You've walked into it full fledged, and it's been a great experience, or has there been like bumps in the road? Has there been challenges? Like, how has that experience been for you?
Yeah, I think there's been bumps in the road for sure. I think that, honestly, we were fully remote before the pandemic, anyways, just based off the industry that we are in, and a lot of our team members work in different provinces and that kind of thing, or they travel a lot. So we're used to working remotely. Having said that, regardless of how long you've been doing that, it does come with challenges, right? Like we communication, I think, is just the biggest challenge. So
Mm.
communication is very easy now with texting and WhatsApp and Slack and all of these communication platforms that we have, but it's sometimes not enough. Sometimes you need to have like a check-in like this, like some type of video call to really get a read on how that person's like actually doing. I think we can put up a front when we're just texting. So maybe sometimes you need an actual check-in to really feel that person's energy, if they need some extra help, some extra support from you as a leader, and kind of just feel them out. So we've had to kind of refine that piece of things and make sure that me as a leader, I'm not putting that to the back of my mind, and I'm making sure I'm checking in with my team in that way.
And so, and I'll ask you this because and it's so true, everything that you've said. Like, do you find that now when it comes to like communicating with your team and connecting, like, do you find that there's do you find that there's more of that going on? Like, would you say like more so than maybe it would like in person? I know you've been remote like before,
Mhm.
but do you find like there's a sense to connect more because of the remote work?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think, everybody that's on our team has worked remotely, but then they've also worked in an office. So I think there's part of all of us that really enjoy remote work, but also miss the connection of like being in person and having like heart to hearts in person, or having, strategy calls with each other. And like, I'm a big energy person. Like, I really like to be in person with people. I think technology is amazing. It's what we do every day. But our team definitely wants to make an effort to still come together when we can, when it's safe to to do that, because we miss it, right? Like and I think when you're immersed in technology all day, every day, you do really crave that. And I know that you can relate to that feeling.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it was interesting because I'm so intentional when it comes to meeting with people, and it's come to a point because like we had our office lease, and then we let that go at the end of last year,
Mm-hmm.
and now basically it's at a point where we probably are going to get together, twice a year in person. But I want to make it like a really intentional, like fun, like
Yeah.
nothing to do with work type of thing, where it's
Mm-hmm.
like let's just like get on some good vibes here and connect. Because I think that really helps when you go back to the work, when like, okay, yeah, Jim has my back, or Sarah's on my side, like
Yes.
those things go a real long way. So that's something that we've been working through.
Yeah, I think like a retreat is kind of the direction that, my team's been going in. And we really want to make that, like you said, like an annual thing at the very least, to just like, yeah, I think the lines of like professional and personal are blending more, especially now with COVID and like people realizing that everyone has a life, and like oh no, my dog hopped up in my lap while we were on Zoom, or like my baby's crying in the background because we're all at home. Like the lines are very blurred now. So I think it's more important than ever to like have your team connect on a personal level if possible and really feel like they're all supporting each other and they're all in the same corner, because if you're not all kind of on the same wavelength in that way, I think it can, I've seen it create, problems within the working environment, even if that's remote. So
Yeah, totally agree. Being on the same page is definitely helpful. I'm curious. I'm going to ask this question. This is kind of going back to the marketing side of things because I'm just such a geek in this area.
I love it.
Um, so you love the organic social media side. I love it as well. I spend a lot of time there. And there's this concept going around that people talk about, and they talk about like what it the sacrifice that comes with like only going for your ideal client.
Mm-hmm.
And to give a framework for that, like when I say the word sacrifice, like I mean like deciding not to do a contract with somebody that you know might not be a good fit,
Mm-hmm.
even though the money's there and they're willing to pay, but you know that it could go sideways. Like
Mm-hmm.
things like that happen all the time. I know in our industry, and I've definitely had a lot of lessons. I think navigating that over the years. Is that something that when you think about that concept, like is that something that you've walked through, and if so, is any insights or perspectives you can share on that?
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely gone through that. Like, when we were fresh and new, like we just wanted to get our name out there and, build our reputation. And so, for the most part, when we had a client, come in contact with us or they express interest, we would, try our best to accommodate them and kind of work with them. I'm a very flexible person in general, but as we progress, it it has become an issue in the past where we've had a client who maybe we're not vibing with super well. We're not on the same page about maybe like boundaries in terms of like what they're expecting from us, how fast they're expecting it from us. The quality of the content that we're putting out, the content itself. So yeah, we've definitely gone through that. So to navigate that, we definitely have a little bit more of like a discovery process with our clients now. So instead of just, yes right away, we definitely have that discovery call with them, figure out what their expectations are, and try to manage those expectations, because we've had a lot of clients in the past that are like, we expect to have 10,000 followers in 2 months, and I'm like, I promise you that that's not going to happen. So you kind of have to manage expectations that way and make sure it's a good fit for you and your team, because if you're not having fun or you're not enjoying what you're doing, the quality of work always drops, right? So we always try to align ourselves with agencies that we really believe in, or businesses that we really believe in. We love working with like mission driven businesses as well. Um,
Ooh,
Very
yeah.
passionate about that. So yeah, it's something that we've, yeah, definitely set more boundaries around in the last probably year.
Wow. What is it about the follower account though that gets people so worked up? Like it's so interesting and fascinating to me. Like I remember doing the first ever coffee and marketing talk event, which was a marketing event where people could come and ask questions about their business. And I
Mhm.
remember there was one business that showed up and they had like, I don't know, tens of thousands of followers, and they were talking about it in the group and almost with a sense of pride, like like we've been able to do this and so many people like are have followed us as a result. And then I realized later that it was like probably 95 or 97% of their followers were all people that were never ever going to do business with them, were never, like, not even in their area to do business. And it's not like they were a digital company either. So I was just like, I'm like, man, like people really overvalue this. Do you experience that all the time in your line of work?
Oh,
I know
absolutely.
I do.
Yeah, absolutely. It's super frustrating, to be honest, because I always say it's a metric that we will look at for sure. You want to tick along, you want to grow where you can, but like it is always quality over quantity. Because you could have three people follow you, but two of them are bots, or two of them or are people that live light years away from you, and maybe they're just following you and then they unfollow you. You know, there's a ton of possibilities as to who's actually following you. So the strategy really needs to be like connecting with people, especially if you're a location based service, that you're connecting with people in your local community that are actually going to, you know, want to purchase your products or your services. So it's strategy comes number one, and like it's so frustrating sometimes to try to explain, because I think sometimes clients think that we're not doing, you know, the best job we can because they're not growing by thousands and thousands of followers a day, and it just doesn't work like that. It's really slow. It's really, really slow. And I've seen clients with tens of thousands of followers, like you said, and they get like 10 likes on their post, or their engagement rate is awful. So, you know, and then we've got a little tiny community, we've got all the right people, and their engagement rate is really high, and their income is higher as well as a result of that, because they're actually talking to the people that care, right?
Oh my goodness, talk about it. Talk about it. There's so many small accounts out here doing like real numbers, like
Oh, yeah.
year over year, and like crazy compared to the people with tens of thousands that aren't doing like a percentage of it.
Exactly. It's wild. Like it's pretty cool, honestly. Like I one day would love to like find a couple of you know, an actual comparison that I could put out to like show people what I'm actually talking about. But like there is power in a small community. It does not have to be huge.
Love that. Love that. Um, I want to switch lanes with you for a second here, and I want to talk about life.
Okay.
We talked a little bit about it earlier. We were talking about motherhood, but I'm a person. I'm a dreamer, but I'm also an executor.
Mhm.
Always working towards my goals. Always working towards things that I want to accomplish in life. And I'm a big believer in building a business around your life and not the other way around. So when you can you share with me, Rebecca, because I know that you know you're a huge idea person, very very creative. When you think about like you know what you want out of life and where your business kind of fits into that picture, like what are some kind of things that come to your mind that you wouldn't mind sharing with us today?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think you and I are very aligned in what we see for ourselves in the future, Josh, and I think that's kind of cool. But yeah, I mean, what I was doing 2 years ago was probably necessary at that time, but it's not anything I would want to sustain. And I've realized now that I'm a mother, like I want time with my child. You know, there's times now where I'm so busy during the day, I feel like I'm missing moments with him, um, and I don't want that. So I think I've learned, you know, to set boundaries around the amount of time that I work in a day, um, and really, really looking into the future, trying to make sure that I'm in, you know, I'm not as much in the day to day operations of our business, and just grow to the point where I can be a leader for my team, and I can really, really show up for them and support them and drive the business forward and keep pushing and growing, as opposed to, you know, writing contracts and getting clients to sign them and doing billing and invoicing and all of these things, right? There's so many small business owners out there that do wear all the hats. And that's okay for a little while, but the burnout is real. So I think,
Mm.
you know, looking forward, I can't wait to get to that point where, you know, I have that freedom and my team can continue to grow as well, right? Like putting people in some management positions, some leadership positions, and really like growing those people as well is what I really look forward to.
I absolutely love that. And thank you so much for sharing that, Rebecca. Yeah, it's, you know, I get so excited when we have these type of conversations because it just shows your heart and, you know, like really what you want out of life. And I know you're going to achieve it.
Thank you.
You know, it's funny. I heard somebody say this once and it was a concept that was maybe a little extreme, but it actually kind of gave me a little bit of a kick in the pants and kind of got me to think. And the concept or the phrasing was, you know, if you want to grow leaders in your business, just leave.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Exactly.
and I was like, wait, what?
Wait, what?
And then the guy explaining it, he's like, that might be a little bit of an extreme way of looking at it, but he's like, but there is some truth there. Like when you kind of, you know, almost create some boundaries in your own space and kind of say to your team like, no, like this is something that you need to problem solve on, and or you need to collaborate with your team and figure out a solution, and then let me
Mhm.
know what you think of the solution being. So that's something that I'm actually working on this year, is trying to get really really intentional of where I do and don't step in, because I'm a problem solver by nature. I love to solution things, but I realize I'm like, I need to like really delegate that
Mhm.
out, and kind of get people to cultivate their own critical thinking skills. So
Yeah.
that's
It's
something I'm working on as well.
Yeah, it's and I mean, what a realization as a leader that you need to maybe just give your team a little bit more space and time to figure something out themselves. And like that's like a control thing that, even like everything from motherhood, I reflect onto my business because the two are the same. Your personality as a parent or as a business owner, it's the same. They all shine through, right? So giving up control in terms of how you do things to let other people step up and do that. And I'm terrible for that. Like my team will tell you that they're like, Rebecca, just chill, step away for a minute and give me a chance to step up and figure out what we need to do or come up with some suggestions. And like people rise to the occasion when you do that and you give them that opportunity. But if you're constantly stomping on them, and that's not going to happen, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's funny because like sometimes like and sometimes it's the other way where like the person is kind of more so like, no, no, but I want you to step in, sometimes it almost feels wrong for you to still say like, no, 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 like you got this.
Yeah.
But it's something I'm totally learning and in the process of right now. So I really appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, well, let me know how it goes because I'm going to be on this journey with you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Rebecca, as we wrap this up, um, what is first of all, where can people go to learn more about you, learn more about your agency and things that you got going on?
Yeah, we're on Facebook and Instagram as Four Corners Collective. That's our handle for both. So you can head there. Our website's in our Instagram bio, of course. So if you need more information, you can kind of head there. You can also just DM me. I handle our social media, so I'm always going to get that direct message if people have questions. You can email me too. All of our information is on our Instagram bio, so that's kind of where we put our focus in terms of getting in touch with people. So always up to hearing from anybody who has questions.
Wonderful. And I can't let you go without asking this question. It's a heart question. Um, what advice, what perspective can you leave here today for um, mothers who are also business owners?
Mm.
And it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing.
Yeah.
And what can you leave as something as encouragement to them? Because I know you're in it.
Mm.
And I saw a post that you put out the other day, and I was really really encouraged by it, and I thought I'm like, this is going to help a lot of people. But
Mm-hmm.
today, like, what would you leave for women in business who are mothers, and something to encourage them today?
I think I would have to have an entire series on this, and it's definitely something that I want to do is have like more serious conversations with other moms or parents who are business owners because honestly, it's probably been like the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my entire life. I would say just don't feel guilty for wanting to do both. It's okay that you
Mm,
want to have it all, and I think that you can have it all.
mm,
I just highly encourage any mom to ask for help and take any support that you can have because when I was a new mom, I was pretty much like, no, I don't want help. I don't need it. I can do it all. But it takes a village to raise babies and remain sane and have a business and enjoy the process of that. So don't feel guilty. You're doing the best that you can, and don't ever be afraid to seek support wherever that is.
Don't be afraid. Seek support. I absolutely love that. Rebecca, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing today. I really appreciate it.
Hey, thanks for having me, and I hope we can do it again soon.
Absolutely. You have a fantastic day. Say
Yeah.
hello to your family, your baby, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right. Soak up some sun for me.
Will do.
Okay.
Bye for
Bye
now.
bye.